little bit more today. I'm thinking I will walk you through, since I did setup on Windows last time, I'll do setup on Linux. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. And then I will walk you through some steps that I've been taking for creating a brand new trading system from scratch, and talk about some of the data mine options that you have available for you for different indicators. We had a request from somebody in the Telegram to discuss how to make your charting space not too busy and understandable. So that'll be a part of that as well. So let's get started. I am logged in on one of my extra Linux boxes that I have here in my house. And it's actually just over here to my right. That's why I was looking over there. So let's see. We'll go to, I'm just going to do it in a brand new directory here. Just do it in temp for right now. And I will clean it up later. I've already got it installed on this system. But anyway, I'll walk you through it from the start. So let's grab our code URL, and then we will git clone. And I always forget that I work on a Mac all day, and then I come over to my Windows system and I have no idea what button does what anymore. And I spelled clone wrong. So that'll do. It takes a little bit. Let's see, can I make this bigger? I know that there's a way to make the change settings, window, appearance. Wish I could just, I'll make it 16. That seems like that should be readable for everybody out there. They can see all the secrets that I have on my computer. See, this is called XBMC box. This is because I used to use this as my home entertainment system, but now it's just an extra Linux server I have sitting around. Man, this takes forever. What is going on? This does not seem right. Let's try a different directory, because that's, oops. Got my Dogecoin wallets there. Let's go into temp here. Should set this up a little bit better before hopping on here. Now let's get clone. Because I was in a temp fs directory, maybe not. Nope, still going super freaking slow. What's going on? Let me duplicate this window real quick. Let's see here. I do have a whole bunch of Docker things running on here. Just checking for. I don't know, it doesn't say. Isn't there a command you can do to check and see if you're connected add a gig. Linux, check, connection, speed. Hyperv. No, I just want to see. View connection, uplink, speed. Oh, here. ETH tool, ETH0, grep speed. That's what I was looking for. Looks like it. Yeah, it says I'm connected at a gig. What's going on? This seems absolutely ridiculous. Oh well. Alright, so I'm not going to do it on that. I'll just work out in my original directory. Oh yeah, I was already doing some stuff in here. Let me... I was working on minimizing the container size, seeing if I could get it down below a couple gigabytes, and it so far doesn't want to get any smaller. But anyway, let me add these things. Excuse me. And oh, shoot. All right. Well, man, am I gonna have to go through all this? All right. So echo. Oh, there. Now it asks for it. All right, great. Let's hope that my one password doesn't show up here and I don't do anything stupid. Show you all this. Anyway, I wish I had done a little bit more setup before getting into this video tonight. Come on. Come on, Windows. Take forever. Of course. Alright, so I want my... Boom. Alright. So that's how you sign your commit. If you are working in Git and you want your commits to show up as verified, there you go. Gotta have your GPG key. Let's check out develop. Let's get pull upstream develop. Man, it's still super freaking slow. But at least I didn't have that much to grab. Okay, so let's check out our node version. 16.9.1, it's up to date. Let's do our node setup, no shortcuts. Got to build out all our node dependencies. Come on. And now we can node platform. Oh, I don't have any node platform. All right. Node platform min memo. Oh. I have it already running. was already running it in Docker. Anyway, that's kind of interesting to see. Could not bind to the ports because what I had running in Docker was already using them. But anyway, let's do that again. Code platform min memo. And there you go. So now we can browse 30, what is it, 34248. And you'll also get to see how to set up your configuration for a remote machine now, because I'm going to have to do it. Man, always makes me a little bit anxious when it takes so long to get started. Alright, so again, we are on our tutorial space. What I'm going to do is find the blank template workspace. Get that loaded up. I'm going to rename this. Let's call it BT test 2. I don't even know. There we go. Save it. Reload. Make sure we're on the correct workspace. Oh, while this is reloading tonight, I am drinking Postmodern Gulpy. It's pretty cool that it picked up the green and it's trying to, well, whatever, green screen it. Tired Hands, it's a watermelon flavored Saison. Sorry, lager. Just a twist on their Gulpy lager. It's alright. Not necessarily my thing, but it's good. I think I gave it a 3 or 3.5 on Untapped. If anybody wants to talk beer, I'm always down to talk about beer. So let's see. We got these data mines here. We want to add in some more missing data mines. And I guess, let's see. We had a request earlier. Wish there was an easy way to get back to my at. I can't remember if this person asked specifically about Sparta. But I'm gonna add, I'm pretty sure he asked about the Bollinger. I don't know how you pronounce it. Bollinger? Something like that. Let's add the file plugin position. And let's go ahead and add in Sparta. And then we will delete the rest because if I reload, if I don't want these in here, they're going to load in anyway because these folders load in the plugin. So any of them you don't want, make sure you clean up. Most of these folders I have not explored. I don't know what's in them. The Zeus I have worked with a little bit. Tried playing around with Ichimoku. And Barcelona we don't need. Alright, and then there's this cool little thing over here called change the tension level. I don't know what that really means, but you click on those and it helps arrange them around their parent node. So we've got these file plugins, and you can drag them around, place them, so it looks all pretty if you want. So now that I've got them there, I want to save and refresh. What did I have earlier? I had a Tired Hands, can't remember the name of it. It's a Felice something. And it's kind of like a Mexican lager with lime in it. Kind of like a Corona lime, Corona and lime, or Bud Light lime. Pretty refreshing on a hot, humid day. Also, not necessarily my favorite, but it is pretty decent to drink every once in a while. So anyway, so you can see we have these data mines here now. You can expand them. You'll see they have the plotter and chart things, indicator bots. Excuse me. But otherwise, what you want to do, now we want to get our crypto ecosystem up and running. I'll just go ahead and do Binance US again, because it works really well. One other thing I guess I'll do while I'm in here, I will uninstall BTC USDT. In the exchange assets, if you want more than just Bitcoin and Tether, you can come in here, edit this quoted asset to be, if you want USDT to be the quoted, go with that. Now we can hit add missing, and it searches and grabs them all. And then to kind of space them out so you can see what's there. Pretty much everything that you can trade, Bitcoin, anything you trade into USDT or out of USDT, but it also picks up a couple that you can do trading. Well, sorry, this part only picks up what you can do USDT. And then if you come down here and hit install, where is it? Add missing markets. Boom. So this brings in everything that we can trade up on Binance US. So let's see, what's another one that's hot right now? I mean, I guess ETH or LTC. BNB is actually really good to trade as well, because if you hold Binance Coin, BNB, then Binance will give you a discount on your trading fees. So let's install this market just for the heck of it. And then we can minimize, We don't need anything with assets. But now we want to come over to the network node. Oh, connected to my local host because I have it running on my computer too. But anyway, what I'm doing is setting this up so that it works on my Linux machine, not my Windows machine. Since my Linux machine is remote, connected to it over the web, TCP, HTTP, WebSockets. I'm typing in the IP here as the host. I'm leaving port and WebSocket port alone. Now I need to save and I need to reload. Still loading. Alright. So now you can see I'm connected. Connected there. I can rename this to my XBMC box so I know where it is. I'll save that change. And you can see I have my BNB USDT open. Expand these out for everybody. I like to shrink these down a little bit. This is just make everything look a little bit better on the screen. Oh, maybe a little too much there. Pretty good. All right. So let's go ahead and edit our start date. We don't necessarily need 2020 data, so let's just start at the 1st of this year. We'll start running our raw data and candle volumes. So in the Bollinger data mine, you have your bands and you have your channels. Let's give these a look first. So as soon as all the data is downloaded, man, this internet is super slow today. Maybe it's because my wife is upstairs streaming a show. And then let's see, we have our Sparta data mine. Gives us the RSI, relative strength index, MACD, the EMAs, exponential moving average, and the SMAs, simple moving average. We'll go ahead and run this one too. Get all that data loading. So this is going to take forever apparently. Let's duplicate this. Do I have speed testing? So I don't have speed test installed. Oop. Thought there was a speed test package. Speed test CLI. Oh, nice. I can remove Linux headers. Got plenty of space. The frickin' speed test command. Sudo speed test. 7 megabits. That's a little bit slow. Yeah, that should be like 200. Oh, something's going on. I'll have to figure it out another time, I guess. Yeah, this is really ruining this testing session. Get this out of the way. Man, this is gonna take forever. Says I'm only using 30 megs down. Shouldn't be hurting me too much. What does the router say? It's only connected at 100 meg. It keeps happening. That's gotta be what's messing me up. Oh well, we'll be done downloading data in a minute here. Yeah, this really does take forever. Let's see, what else can we talk about while we're waiting for this? So I guess going into the charting space to get a little bit of this out of the way. You pretty much only want to turn on what you actually want to see. Yeah, I know that sounds a little bit stupid to say, but the limiting factors that I really run into with this software are the UI itself just being super slow, and the more things that you add on, the slower it goes. That's actually kind of true about a lot of the system also. So the more indicators that you are calculating and running, the slower your system's going to be because it's trying to do more work. I mean, each of these indicators, when they're actually running, seems to take up 100%. That process takes up 100% of the CPU. So if you figure you have, 4 cores, assume that you can get away with 4, maybe 8 indicators. If you're running on a Raspberry Pi, I'd probably stick at the lower end there, maybe 4. If you're on, a brand new Intel or AMD system, you may be able to get away with 2 to 4 indicators per core. It really depends. Depends on which indicator, because they aren't all as CPU intense as the rest of them. But obviously, you're testing, you'll find out. I had this water sitting out on my desk waiting for me, and it got a ton of condensation on the outside. So when I put it in the beer koozie, or the water koozie in this, or can koozie, pushed all the water up to the top and it just spilled all over me. Nice. Anyway, keeping it casual. So I'm into writing the candles and volumes, and obviously this one, candles and volumes, you're gonna need to run for any other indicator that you're doing, pretty much. And then everything else is based off of those candles and those volumes, but mostly candles. So these all have to wait until the candles are done and up to date. And you can see on a somewhat slightly older AMD 64 machine, calculates relatively quickly. I can show you a little CPU usage here so you can get an idea of what's going on. You can see everything else I have running on this server. But yeah, you can see jumping into the Bollingers and got some of the Sparta running. Excuse me. And then every once in a while, all these node processes just jump. The dailies definitely seem to be a lot more processor intense. I think everything that's over an hour, if I remember correctly, is in the dailies. And so this is what takes up a lot. Of course, grabbing everything fresh from the start is going to be a lot more CPU intense. But every minute, you're going to have all these different processes vying for their CPU time to run their calculations. So, again, test your system out to see what works, but generally, the more indicators you run, slower things are going to be. The more indicators you run, also, obviously, that gives you more to look at. So you may want to do it when you're first getting an idea, testing out what you want to use for your trades. But you definitely want to start trying to cut it down. And the Raspberry Pis and those single SMB boards, you'll want to try and run on those locally if you can, just because they are more efficient, use up less power. But again, if you're doing a ton of indicators, not necessarily going to work well for you. So you probably want to beef your server or PC or something. Anyway, getting back to the chart and what makes it so crowded. Let's just zoom in here on this week. But we can see, we'll go into Bollinger Bands, turn them on, we get some stuff. Turn on the percent bandwidth, get some more stuff. Got our channel objects, there's all kinds of cool things that you can turn on. You can see these panels start getting really slow the more stuff we turn on. But generally it's still kind of working, not too bad. But anyway, kind of like I was just saying in terms of the indicators that you're running, you'll want to try and keep the indicators that you're not actually looking at turned off, so you don't get too many things on your screen. You can focus in on what you're actually trying to look for in your targets, your opens and closes. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say there. Somebody who's more professional may have better insight, but that's just kind of been what I've run into. When I first started, I wanted to turn everything on. I had no idea what any of them were. I was trying to learn, and I just was like, okay, well, yeah, I have access to all of these. I want to use all of them. But it turns out a lot of the indicators don't really work well together. So when, let's just look at something like this. So obviously here we have a bottom of a valley, and here we have a peak. So if you were going to say something like, if the close is outside of the lower band, trigger on, or take position or something like that, and then sell when it closes outside of the top Bollinger Band. Looking at other things like EMAs, let's find an EMA to turn on. Is it gonna load? Maybe it's not calculated yet for this time frame. It should be. Looks like these are up to date. Why am I not getting the EMAs? That's weird. Everything below an hour I'm not getting. Oh well, I'll look into the data issues later. So anyway, here. So when you're looking at EMAs, whoops. Let me turn the Bollinger Bands off real quick. So a typical EMA is you look for crossing patterns. So the 50, 20 crossing over the 50, 50 crossing over the 200 or the 100. Those are the things that you're looking for. So just picking this out right now, we have a crossover at, was that the 14th at 1900. Turn on our Bollinger Bands, and you can see we're well into the middle of the Bollinger Band at that point. So trying to use the Bollinger Bands to say like, all right, I have a breakout event over here. Do I want to use this indicator to make a trade in this time frame, the 13th at 9 o'clock, around there? And you might try and come up with a strategy to make your sale here, where it's actually going into the band. But as you can see, the EMAs don't really show that same picture. So trying to use both of these together, not really going to work out too well. At least if you use them in, the traditional sense. And when I say traditional sense, I mean if I do a search for MACD or Bollinger Band trading strategy, top hits that are going to come out of Google, things that people write books about, things, if you were taking a class, you might actually learn. Some of the fun of this is using the data for what you want it to be. So if that's how you want to make your strategy, obviously go ahead. Nobody's going to stop you. Let's see. Another thing would be, I was using the Ichimokus, and people typically use them with RSI to validate or to try and validate the buy signals. One of the annoying things earlier, and it may be fixed now, I haven't used it in a while, haven't looked at it in a while. When you turn on some of these graphs, let's see, where is it? Like percent bandwidth. You can see how my candles jumped way up to the top here and they look super tiny. And then I have these other lines, charts going on at the bottom here. Let me zoom out a little just to make this a little bit easier. Part of why this happens is these are the actual y-axis values for these graphs. So it is being displayed on the actual same graph. Other coins that you might be looking at, like, let's just pick Dogecoin because it's under $1. This Bollinger chart may be absolutely huge in comparison to the candles. Another thing that you'll notice too is that it wants to really get me down closer to 0, and it won't really happen. So I turn off the candles, and now I have an even bigger chart. But what I probably want to do is change the scale. Now I can actually see this a little bit better, oscillating. I think people are working on different ways to have these different styles of charts shown at the same time in the same charting space. But for now, they definitely clutter up when you're trying to look at them at the same time. So in this case, you'll really want, and the RSI is another one. I think there's a couple other oscillators that it really helps to look at them on their own. Otherwise, just the scales of the charts and everything just kind of go a little haywire. Let's see. Other charting features that I have played around with and I have either stopped doing or started doing. Let's see. I always like to have these episode counters, the statistics, and the balances on because I'm typically in here working on a strategy. And let's go in. I'll just start with the Bollinger Bands. And I'll just do a very simple strategy with the Bollinger Bands. So I will show them here in the graph, in the chart. And yeah, it looks like everything's up to date. I wonder why I'm not getting the smaller time frames for the EMAs. Anyway, let's go over to our brand new trading system. I do not play around with dynamic indicators yet, so I just go ahead and delete that. And I always like to start at my trigger on event. So let's go back here, figure out a good upswing. So we can see this is called, swing trading if you're not too familiar with it. I definitely wasn't when I started. You'll be looking for timing the lows and the highs, or more importantly, trying to get in as close as possible to the beginning of an actual uptrend and getting out as close as possible to when that uptrend is done. So you can see kind of indicating that we have a uptrend about to happen. But here we also have this break in going from outside to inside, outside to inside. But our real uptrend doesn't happen. What would I say? I guess as soon as we close, maybe we could say we close above the midline. And I'll show you, well, Actually, let's trigger on when we cross in. So I'm gonna use this graphical editor first because I can't remember what all the cool things we can do with the Bollinger Bands are. Excuse me. Lower band. Yeah. Okay. And let's see. Do I have my Bollinger Bands on all my lower? Do. Let's jump out. Let's just do our 1 hour time period. So, click on our edit. I got our 1 hour lower band, and it's our current. Gonna push that to our JavaScript code node. I'm gonna edit. I just want to get the lower band. So we'll want our lower band to be less than, let's see, chart dot at 01 hours, I think it's HS. Candle close. So we have our candle close above the lower band. And then, how about when we close above the middle band, which I can't remember. And I'll turn off. Copy all that. Turn off if we close below the lower band. And I will take our position when we, excuse me. No, I want Bollinger, the moving average. That's what that midline's called. So we want to push. I'm gonna change it to chart at 01 hours, candle close greater than the moving average. And we'll sell when our candle closes below the moving average. And obviously, you can see over here, that's not going to play out too well all the time. So this may be something that you want to play around with and make better on your own time. We'll add our execution algorithm. Do we want to do limit buys or market buys? Let's do limits. I'm a big fan of limits. I always delete the simulated exchange events. And then here we're going to sell when our close is below the moving average. And our order rate, I'll make it the moving average. And our open stage, should have had a coffee. Let's place our buy order. Our order rate will also be the moving average. we'll create the order event. Yeah, sure. Just make it true. Let's see. So one thing I always forget about is which one is the quoted asset, USDT, and which one is the base asset. Excuse me, man, I am not having a very good night tonight. So tethers are quoted. So our order rate is going to be in quoted to start. Oh, I want to get rid of the base asset. And then here I want to get rid of the quoted asset. And I can minimize my trigger stage. I'm going to open this up because I need to link my limit buy order there. And I need to link my sell order. With the very first limit sell order. And then I'm going to need trading episode quoted asset balance. Oh, did I do that wrong? No. Yeah, so the target size in quoted asset is the quoted asset balance. And then for my sale, I'm going to do the base asset balance. So we need our manage stage. So what we normally would do, let's look at our episode begin rate. And let's say I think that's the one I want. Anyway, we'll test it and we'll figure it out. So if we go, say if we go down 5%, so I'll say if it's 95% of the beginning rate value, that's our stop loss. And our take profit, if we go up, let's say if we go up 5%, so times 1.05. So I think we should be okay to test this out now. Let's see what happens. Let's just call this test trading system. We'll open up our testing trading tasks. Set up our, I always just set my base to 0. Set my quoted to, I don't know, whatever you want to do. 50 bucks. Let's do 1,000. Time range. We need to be here. Let's do today's date? The 22nd. Let's do the 10th through the 20th. We're 17th. Why not? We'll do 7 days. Time frame on the 1 hour, because that's what I set everything up for. We'll leave our fee structure the same. Let's give it a whirl. Ready to go. There we go. Oh, that was pretty quick. All right. So now we need to turn on our episodes. Oh, nice. I was already centered on that date. I like to turn on strategies, even though our strategies are all the same. Let's see, we did limit buys and limit sells. A little bit weird, I don't see anything. Guess we never... trigger stage. That's a little weird. Open stage. Yeah, that should be it. So then we can roll these up. Let's see if we have any errors. Oh wow, tons of errors. So that's why. I don't want statuses. I want... Excuse me. Well, let's see what these errors are. Target rate node value undefined. Formula value not a number. What did we do? Oh, didn't put my target rate in. I was going to make that the moving average. Boom. Alright, let's run this again now. What did I miss? Come on. So you have to do these things in order, and you have to be very diligent about it. Otherwise, sometimes they get into a weird state. And then you have to refresh, load everything again. Come on. There. So I usually wait until I see my yellow text here, and then I hit run. And there we go. So now that that is 100%, we can zoom out, and boom, got more errors. Formula not a bit, not a value, not a number. Target rate not a... Where did I... Which other target rate did I mess up? This one? Oh, come on. How did I put that in there? So we'll make that our moving average as well. Make sure I save. And let's run this one more time. All right. All done again. Hey, look at that. We have a couple buys and sells. So here actually worked out pretty decently. Um, so it's pretty literal. We closed above the lower band, so we triggered on, and I placed my sell at the moving average, and of course I bought as soon as it started going down. And then I said, as soon as we close, oh, I did say, for it to trigger on, sorry, to go into the open stage, which you can't really see at the top here. Here's our open stage. It needed to close above the moving average. So here it certainly is. Then, what did I say for my close stage? It just had to be closing below the moving average, which it sure is. But I placed my limit order at the moving average, and I got lucky that we came back up. Here again, same thing. I got really lucky. Instead of placing it over here, well, obviously we're in the middle of a position, but I placed it at the top of this peak, essentially. Luckily, I wasn't doing market buys. Got lucky, made our buy here, and then placed my sell at the moving average value, and sold when it started coming back up again. So this didn't exactly work out as I intended it to. Obviously, you have to do a little bit more reading, studying the indicator, seeing how it's actually designed to be used, and testing, seeing what works, what doesn't work, what type of market does it work best for, what time frame does it work best for. I think a lot of these, like MACD and the Ichimoku indicators, generally work better at 1 hour or more. I think a lot of times it's say 4 8 hour. And usually that's pretty good too, from what I found. Jumping to the higher the higher time frames, the 1 hours and more, 4 8 hours, takes a lot of the volatility out of the market. You may not necessarily get the absolute lowest price to buy it, and you may not get the absolute highest price to sell it, but you'll get a lot fewer false positives and false negatives on your indicators because there won't be as much. You can see as we scroll in, we have, if we were looking for, I didn't mean to, if we were looking for crossovers, we zoom in and we have many, many crossovers throughout the day. If we look at our 1 minute, for example, 1 minute is extremely volatile. So if we were buying at this crossover where we're going breaking into the cloud and then selling when it goes out, we'd be buying, probably buy too quickly somewhere up in this area, and then we'd sell too quickly, probably here. We'd miss out on this opportunity, most likely, miss out up here, miss out up here. And so we'd miss a lot of the actual uptrend. And a lot of people, if you talk to them, I don't know, I guess naysayers or whatever, people against day trading crypto in particular, will say that you'll get harmed by the fees, you know, nickel and dimed. So if you're making a ton of trades throughout the day, you have to keep your fees in mind, because you're making 1% on the trade that you just made, but your exchange does 0.5% for every single trade. You know, you're not really making that much money there, are you? So it's much better, well, you do you. Decide how you want to trade, but in terms of getting volatility out of the market, generally better to trade on larger time frames, 24 hour if you really want to. I haven't really been doing that. I'm not that I don't know. I want to see more trades. I'm in this for watching the trades come in and go out. Um, you'll, excuse me, generally get bigger return. Obviously, you could also get a bigger turn, bigger negative, but you'll have a better chance of getting a bigger return on the larger time frames because you'll see your peaks and valleys will level out a little bit more. Things will stay in the cloud. If you're looking at this one, things will stay in the cloud a little bit longer. You'll get a little bit better indication of the market making large changes. Obviously, things like this cliff here, not great, not really good to time. And these cliffs may also be better to handle and get out of them and do your stop loss on a smaller time frame. But depending on which indicator you're using, going back into August here, had a pretty good run with BNB. You may be able to get in, say, on the 4th in this case, and ride the wave all the way up, and then get out at the 26th at the top of the market. Obviously, if you know what indicator does that, please share. That's what this is all about. Yeah, I think that's it for me for the night. Any questions or comments or whatever, I'll be trying to get this video up on YouTube again. And I'm always hanging out in the Telegram channels for Superalgos and the Discord channel as well. So come find me. I'll be there. Ask your questions. Give me tips. If you want me to go over something in the next video, definitely point it out. Let me know, and I'll see what I can do. Anyway, until next week, happy trading. I don't know. I got to come up with a better closeout, I guess. Anyway, ta-ta. Next week.